Hello, dear friends. Matt and Julian, this is for you. It's been a bit getting over a cold here, and I was in a play. My friend Hannah had a play. And so I was shitting bricks there for a couple weeks. This song is a true story about my grandfather painting me up like Dracula when I was a kid, and me looking at myself in the mirror once he was finished and feeling startled by my image in the mirror and not really knowing who or what I was, and also realizing that I'd be drawing a lot of attention to myself in school if I went to school, and I never missed school. I was really dedicated to going to school. And that day I did end up not going to school because I was so freaked out. And I was disappointed in myself, and I know I was letting my grandfather down. And I felt bad about that because he made me look quite amazing, like a little miniature Dracula. And yeah, it was sad. Sad day. But it all worked out. Everything's great now. Okay. Let's just take the fucking intro, okay? That's enough to deal with. So, we get some chromatic action, and I played this all on the Juno, and then I'm sure what I played wasn't very interesting. Gosh, I'm being hard on myself. But I embellished it a bit with some of these chromatic movements. Now those are upbeats. And common thing I'll do is, there was a bass part to this, obviously. And, when I write on the piano, it's pretty simple piano technique, usually bass note and triad or some 3 or 4 note chord on top. Sometimes it's a fifth in the bass, sometimes it's an octave. And then what I'll do is I will separate the parts. So that Juno part, the top part turned into the Juno patch, and the bottom part turned into the freaking bass patch. I used the ARP Odyssey, apparently. All on the offbeats. Who needs cymbals? Holy shit. Holy sugar plum. And I will say this. That was the gist of the song for a very long time. And we had the intro, we had verse 1, we had verse 2, and we had verse 3. And at some point I was like, I need a bridge for this here fucking song. And so I made one at a later date. And I wanted it to be in a different tempo. And so I think this is kind of rubato to all these things. Maybe they're in time, I don't know. But to make the bridge, which we'll get to a little later on, just obsessively checking to see if this is freaking working, because I haven't used it in a while. Yeah, we'll get to the bridge later, but yeah, I made it at a later date, and it's at a different tempo. It's at a faster tempo, and because I kind of was always imagining it's sort of bouncing off this somehow. Sort of starts to outline a new tempo a little bit. And that's a common thing I'll do with my songwriting is I'll have a song, and maybe it's sitting for a year, a week, 5 years, 5 months, 5 fortnights. And then I'll come back to it. Usually it's years. And I'll be like, oh boy, I should have finished this in one fell swoop, but I didn't because I rarely do that. But now I need to have an archaeological dig and finish the song. And so that's what I had to do with this one. And I will say, mixing this song took forever and drove me crazy. And apparently I'm still not happy with it. Okay, so now the vocals are coming in. That's one thing. The vocals sit on top too much, I think. But you know what? With mixing, you're always changing the way you mix, and the way you hear kind of changes over the years, or what you like and don't like is always changing, and that's okay. That's part of life.
1983, and I'm afraid of me. My grandpa painted me Dracula for Halloween, but he's too artsy. I look in the mirror and what do I see? Shiny hair, pointy teeth, sunken eyes. Who is staring back at me? Dracula reality. Under a cape, I can't escape PTSD. The feeling when he looked at me. I can't go to school. I'm feeling paralyzed. The special private goal sees the stake in others cool. They are not like me. I look in the mirror and what do I see? Shiny hair, pointy teeth, sunken eyes. Who is staring back at me? I'm facing my mortality. I ran outside in the sunlight, safe in my field of shining bright. I disappear just like him, disappear.
Yeah, that was the thing. The just like him disappear. That's where the song ended, but then I always heard it kind of going off onto another tangent. And so I created that tangent, but we're not going to that tangent of a bridge quite yet. Let's go back to the intro, bro. Let's get into the doo-doo, if you know what I mean. What the hell? What the hell kind of effects is on there? We got some Valhalla. Sounds like some delay too. That's my flat wound, strung Ibanez hollow body guitar. I think. Then my Sonic Mirage keyboard, which is, an early 80s sampling keyboard, the more affordable option back then, and has really cool, I think, 12-bit samples. It's no longer working, but I will repair it one day or have someone else repair it. But let's see. Whoa. Gosh dang it. Gotta have that in there. Wouldn't be the same song without that little ding-dong in there. I can't even tell if this... Yeah, there we go. That fucking track wasn't in there. Ooh. Nice, a little ARP. I have an actual spring reverb unit, which I will say, if you're a mixer, having a spring reverb unit, a real one, is a great addition to any studio. Mine is the Fisher Space Expander, and it's really loud. And I have this plugin won't open, but you just get a denoiser and you teach it. You have it learn the noise of your outboard gear and then get rid of it.
Under a cape, I can't escape BTS.
There's some bad edits in there, which maybe they are bad, but I also think it's because this is a new version of Studio One and the crossfades didn't translate so well, I've been noticing. But that's okay, because this song has been mixed and released.
Under a cape, I can't escape PTSD. The feeling when he looked at me.
When he looked at me, where the fuck are you?
When he looked at me.
When he looked at me.
When he looked at me.
Looks like I have some delays on here.
When he looked at me.
Wonder what delay that is.
1983. And I'm afraid of me. My grandpa paid.
It might be Dan Snizell's Wow and Flutter. Not sure. And then the springs in there.
1983, and I'm afraid of me. My grandpa painted me
So subtle.
Dracula for Halloween.
So subtle. So subtle, Ryan. Maybe too subtle. Okay. Wow, a lot of colors over there. That's pretty. So.
An escape, BT. He looked at me. I can't go to school. I'm feeling paralyzed. The special.
So verse 2 is kind of like verse 1, but maybe I hear a new counter melody.
I'm feeling paralyzed. The special private goal.
And the bass line has some more activity bouncing along, some more chromatic approachings. Not a word. This is the bass before I modified it down here, the bottom part of the part. And I added some little chromatic things, lines and movement, and maybe some reharmonizations of what's on top by placing a note, different bass note in the bottom. Yeah, so that's an enjoyable part of arranging for me, is making bass lines. Very fun.
I can't go to school. I'm feeling paralyzed. The special private goal sees the stake in others cool. They are not like me. I look in the mirror and what do I see? Shiny hair, pointy teeth, sunken eyes. Who is staring back at me? I'm facing my mortality. I ran outside in the sunlight, safe in my field of shining bright. I did slip just like him.
Okay, still not into the bridge yet. But yeah, so the bass line changed on verse 2. There's a counter melody.
Others cool, they are not like me. I look in the mirror.
I mean, doubling of the melody, which...
But he's too artsy.
Yeah, not much doubling of the melody. Vocal melody happened there, but in the second verse, yes, there's some doubling on the guitar, and probably my go-to bell sound would be the Roland D110, which is a 90s synthesizer, popular for some seal patches, Enya patches, amongst other patches. I like the sound of it a lot. Lush. Sterile. But you can do some things to it to make it sound really nice. And some of the patches are glorious. But let us see.
Sees the stake in others cool. They are not.
Oh, we have this classic Oberheim Matrix 1000 patch that I use a lot.
Who is staring?
There we go.
Who is I'm facing my mortality. I ran outside in the sunlight, safe in my feet. Who is staring?
Yeah, Harmo Pan, I forget. Oh my gosh, so many layers. So many freaking layers. And, trying to figure out, oh, maybe that one starts there, this one doesn't come into there, that one comes in there. Yeah, okay, a lot of decisions to make. Did I make the right decisions? One will never know. One will never know until you're dead and gone and ChatGPT tells you if you're right or wrong. One will never know. Thank you. Okay, moving on.
Who is staring back at me? I'm facing my mortality. I ran outside in the sunlight, safe in my field of shining bright. I disappear just like him. Disappear. A turtle and its shell.
In the bridge.
Soup of hell. A new language that reminds you of tender pain. Oh well. The engineer who built and drove the first train off the ledge. So gorgeous are the failures of fantasies made life rich. Foreign movie mayhem, passion actually means suffering. Retail therapy distracting you from facing the real thing. A hole the size of Texas growing in your lonesome heart. The lowest of the low bottom feeders swim in the dark. A holy body man, a mover clean from the last scene. A shockwave hot wire shot opening a spiral sleeve. Same old problem sprouting up. Things don't work, you shan't fuck. Things go well, and you hold on tightly. If only you could let go lightly. You could see your dreams become reality. As the years go by,
We have a hanger. So, yeah, as you heard, that's the bridge there. And, yeah, it starts to slow down at the end to return to the original tempo. I remember writing the lyrics to the bridge. I was free writing in my journal a long time ago, maybe 2020, 2021 in Bushwick in a park. And at a later date, my friend Calvin Grad told me he saw me writing in the park. And that was the same very day I was writing these lyrics for the bridge. So hello to you, Calvin, back then in 2020. Hi. I didn't see you. This is the bridge. It's through composed. I don't think it repeats itself. Yeah, and I wanted it to, slam right out of this other part.
like him, disappear. A turtle and its shell, a bowl of soup of hell.
Okay, and the vocals. I can hear a lot of weird splattering effects going on, and I think it's Snazzy Effects, Wow and Flutter, doing some pitch stuff, because part of that cool pedal is that it will, it's sensitive to the velocity of the notes. I don't know if that's the right term right now. Envelope, volume, and if the signal's loud enough, it'll pitch shift it down.
Just like him, disappear. A turtle and its shell, a bowl of soup of hell. A turtle and its shell, a bowl of soup of hell. A new language, a turtle and its shell.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, it's getting all warbled in a cool way.
A turtle and its shell, a bowl of soup. A turtle and its shell.
I'll just keep playing that forever.
A turtle and its shell, a bowl of soup of hell. A new language that reminds you of tender pain. Oh well, the engineer who built and
Let's try using
a
this.
turtle and its shell, a bowl of soup of hell. A new language that reminds reminds you of tender pain. Oh well, the engineer who built and drove the first train off the ledge. So gorgeous are the failures of fantasy's midlife wedge. Foreign movie mayhem, passion actually means suffering. Retail therapy distracting you from facing the real thing. A hole the size of Texas growing in your lonesome heart. The lowest of the low, bottom feeders swim in the dark. A holy body manum of a clamp from the lessine. A shockwave hot wire shot opening a spiral sleeve. Same old problem sprouting up. Things don't work, you shout fuck. Things go well and you hold on tightly. If only you could let go lightly. Dreams become reality.
Okay, people.
A turtle and its shell, a bowl of soup.
Yeah, and then there's some, jazz fusion licks happening.
A turtle and its shell.
Or should I say, quiet storm?
A turtle and its shell, a bowl of soup of hell. A new language that reminds you of tender pain. Oh well, the engineer who built and drove the first train off the ledge. So gorgeous are the failures of fantasy's midlife wedge. Foreign movie mayhem, passion actually means suffering. Retail therapy distracting you from facing the real thing. A hole the size of Texas growing in your
Some strings coming in.
the lowest of the low, bottom feeders swim in the dark. A holy body man over.
Yeah, and this, as I said, this entire bridge was composed in a different project, and then I dragged it in, apparently. Because it was in a different tempo, and I didn't want to mess with the tempo track and all that stuff.
A turtle.
So let us listen.
A turtle and
Hello. Do you feel it?
a turtle and its shell, a bowl of soup of hell. A new language that reminds you of tender pain. Oh well, the
Well, that was fun to listen to. I enjoyed listening to that part.
as the years go by, I know exactly why my grandpa was so sad. As I cried, the makeup ran. He was too artsy. I look in the mirror and what do I see? Shiny hair, pointy teeth, sunken eyes. Who is staring back at me? I'm facing my mortality. I ran outside in the sunlight, safe in my fear of shining bright. I disappear just like him, disappear.
Yes. So, maybe at the end I heard the introduction of some more backing vocals.
What do I see? Shiny hair, pointy teeth, sunken eyes. Who is staring back at
Didn't remember that from before. But then in hearing that, I remembered how the counter melody to this. Took me a while to figure out how to approach
What
it.
do I see? Sunken
There it is.
back at me, I'm facing my board. I ran outside.
Oh yeah, the Mirage in Sonic. See, you can hear the 12-bit vibe. Sounds good, really good. I need to resuscitate that synthesizer. Got a few synths in my closet that do not work. Yeah, we're at 36 minutes, so we're going to call it a good night to you on this one. And if you have any questions at all, Julian or Matt, please do not hesitate to ask me anything.